Okay, so I think we can start. Welcome everybody to this moment of madness at RDA Virtual Plenary 18, where a selection of our poster authors are going to speak very quickly, because they're only allowed to have 1 minute. They're going to give an overview of their poster, and we'll do each one in succession. I will introduce them to you, and at the end of that, there will be the opportunity for you to ask them questions. And after that, then we will all convene and go into Gathertown. I'll put the link into the chat, but you can also obviously access the exhibition hall, the poster exhibition hall in Gathertown from the Hoover platform. Okay. Okay, so if I move on, this is the list of the presenters we have. I think a couple are missing, but maybe they'll turn up as we start. So the first presenter we have is going to be poster number 2, which is Matthias Ronavalde. And then we've got Amanda and Hilary, but I don't think they're here yet, from poster number 3. If they don't turn up, they may well be presenting at the next Minute Madness session, which is next week on the 9th of November. Poster number 4, I don't think anybody has arrived for poster number 4, but please make yourself known if you have arrived. Then we've got Eric from the Leibniz Institute for Psychology, poster number 5. Then we've got poster 6, which is Birti and Alexandra. I'm not sure which one of you is going to speak, but I'm sure you know. Number 7, we've got Maxi. Number 11, Alexander from the Gdansk University of Technology. Number 20 is Jessica. Number 23, Ritu, both here. And we have Susanna, poster number 25. And hopefully Young Ho has arrived for poster 26. So please let me know if you have. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing then. And Matthias, you are the first to go. So as soon as you've got your slide up and you're ready, then we'll start the minute, okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome to my 1-minute wrap-up. I want to raise your curiosity about our project applying interoperable metadata standards, short AIMS. In it, we are developing a platform for creating and sharing metadata in engineering research. Here are 4 things to know about it. First, AIMS is a cooperative effort in over 4 institutions from infrastructure and engineering. In fact, it is initiated by researchers and their demand for more advanced metadata management. Second, central to this is a model that represents metadata in so-called application profiles. By focusing on a controlled vocabulary, hierarchical design, and a modular approach, the resulting metadata schemas are flexible, interoperable, and specific. Third, we build and run the actual infrastructure in AIMS. Simplified, it consists of a central UI providing universal search as well as the application profile generator, also a repository for storing application profiles, as well as a metadata repository for sharing validated metadata independent of its research data. And the 4th thing to know, we just have recently entered testing phase running an early prototype. Here you can see the actual screenshot providing basic functionality of the platform. That's AIMS in a nutshell. We do have more among the great collaborations with other projects and 2 more years of exciting work to come. But I hope I could raise some interest and look forward to meeting you in the poster session. Thank you very much.
Matthias, excellent. Thank you very much. That really was a mad minute. That was so precise. Thank you. Okay, just a quick check to see if Amanda or Hilary have arrived from poster number 3. I don't believe so. If not, we will move on to anybody from poster number 4. Have they arrived? Poster number 4, an ontology-based approach for fair meteorological data sets. I don't believe they've arrived. So we're going to move swiftly on to poster number 5, which is Eric.
Yes, thank you. Let me try to share my screen.
Okay, when you're ready.
Here we go. Okay. Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Yes.
Good. So what I would like to emphasize is that if you do data sharing, you shouldn't forget to also do data documentation. And especially in a field like psychology that works in the so-called long tail of science, where you have a lot of non-standard measures. So here's an example of somebody who shared a proprietary file, which is quite useless. Then this is better. You have an ASCII representation, but you still don't know what all these values mean in the table. Then you can have what's called the data level documentation, which gives you the variables and the variable labels. So you know a little bit of what's going on, but you still don't know exactly what this is in case of like non-standard measures, like a conspiracy mentality. What is that? So you need a study level documentation that explains what those values in those raw data that are shared actually are. And that's my message. So if you do share data, don't forget to do data documentation. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Eric. Again, a very precise minute there. I'm really impressed. Okay, we're going to move on now to our next presenter. I don't know which one of you two is presenting, or perhaps you both are, Alexandra and Bertie.
No, I will take on.
Okay, thank you, Bertie.
Just a minute to share my screen. Where is it? Okay, hello everybody. Yes, we deal with clinical and epidemiological data from studies in the National Research Data Infrastructure of Germany, and especially in the health context. So the consortium is the NFDI for health, for personal health data. And we developed a data sharing policy with our study hub, where we publish this data. And the data policy deals with the definition of the types of resources. So we have metadata as a study description and study documents as additional information. And the parts of the policy is to fill in metadata schema, so the documentation Eric just mentioned, to define a license and to make the data fair or reusable, to assign a DOE to make it persistent, findable, and to prepare the data in the machine-readable formats. Why is this important for the researchers? Yes, we enhance findability by publishing the data from these studies, and we provide additional information by publishing more documents like study protocols or instruments. That's the whole message. Publish your data from studies and make them findable and fair. So that's it for the moment.
Thank you very much for your message, Bertie. For those people who have joined recently, at the end of the presentations, at the end of these Minute Madness, we will have questions for all of them, okay? Okay, so next up we have poster number 7, which is Maxi, who has a poster on research data quality assurance at repositories indexed in R3 data. Over to you, Maxi.
Thanks very much. So hi, everybody. Have you ever wondered about the role of research data repositories in data quality assurance? Like, for instance, whether repositories conduct data review? We can help you out with some interesting insights. As for instance, we found out that from more than 300 repositories taking part in a recent survey, more than 50% conduct data review beyond the application of formal criteria. More than 30% conduct data review for all datasets and almost 20% for some datasets. If you are interested in more exciting aspects, such as formal assessment, responsibilities for data review, criteria of data review, data rejection, or even quality indicators, we are very happy to share more results of our survey on data quality assurance at repositories indexed in R3 data. So see you at poster number 7.
Thanks very much, Maxi. You had a little bit more time there. Okay, we're going to move on now to the next one. Alexander from the Gdansk University of Technology.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Is my screen shared?
Yes, we can see it. Thanks,
Okay, thank you. So I present results of some kind of interview that we were conduct from the beginning of the project, breach of data, which is unique at our country. Scientists representing various scientific disciplines of our university have been actively participating and trained, and we have an interview to check how they increase their ability to data management and sharing attitude to sharing data and readiness to help others. And we see that the trainings and involved these researchers to the project was very important. So in the future, we know that without special trainings, the staff won't be able to help others. So this all you can see at the poster 11. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Alexander, from poster number 11 there. Any questions to him at the end once we've listened to everybody? And next up, we have poster number 20, Jessica. She has a poster entitled Framework for Fair Services.
Thank you. So what is a fair service? Well, actually, a service cannot be fair itself. It can either enable, respect, or reduce how well the content it holds or processes complies to the fair data principles. And there are lots and lots of guidelines, certificates, recommendations, frameworks, and whatnot regarding service provisioning for research content, outputs, and processes. So how can you know what's really good practice and important? So in the first FAIR project, we have read literature and documents and had expert workshops to sort out the basics. And based on this material, we have distilled 50 recommendations to help service providers think about their operations. And these recommendations have been published in the project deliverable. So you are welcome to poster number 20 to watch a video with a short presentation of this framework. And please download the whole deliverable using the QR code presented here and in the video. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Jessica, for all that information. As Jessica says, she has a video that you can watch, and all these posters can be viewed in the exhibition hall in Gathertown, where we will be going to after. But of course, the exhibition runs right through the plenary. Okay, we have poster number 23 next. Ritu?
Yes.
Over to you.
Let me share my screen. Oops. Just a minute. Can you see my slide?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay, when you're ready.
Yeah, okay. Just a moment. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all according to your local time zones. So let me speak to you about a metadata schema that we developed for scanning electron microscopy. You know, in material science, we are dealing with different kinds of measurement techniques. And then to arrive at a final result, you need to know how the experiment was performed on each instrument. So not just what instrument was used, but what were the settings used at each step. So to start with, we started with scanning electron microscopy. So you see a SEM image here on the left side. And as you can see, it's associated with some metadata already. And using the schema that we developed, we were successfully able to map this data into machine readable format. So as you can see, the data was so mapped, and we also involved some of additional parameters, and using the comments and recommendations from about more than 15 material scientists, as you can see from the collaborators, from the logos below, we were able to develop the schema. So the schema is published in GitHub under a CC0 license. And if you have more questions or something more to ask about this, please, you're welcome to poster 23. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritu. Thanks very much for that. Okay, and we have our last poster, I believe, unless 26 has arrived, Young Ho. But first we have poster number 25 from Susanna.
Thank you. So I'll try to share my screen.
Ritu, could you perhaps stop sharing your screen, please? Hi, Ritu, can you? Okay, great. Thanks very much. Thanks.
Okay, so can you see it now?
Yes, we can. Thanks, Susanna. Yes.
So we wanted to share with you the lessons that we learned from working on the SAIL project DMP, and this data was data that was acquired on a campaign from a ship. And for us, the very important thing in terms of lessons that we learned was that it's important, the motivation for DMP. And for us, the data management plan was really a research tool, a guide for data management, not just a document to provide to a funding agency, for example. And with that, we had a lot. We understood that for that, we needed a lot of detail. For example, we need to release many different versions. So the DMP is more than a living document. It's a readable document. It changes almost every day. And we wanted to share with you this experience. Also some challenges. For example, we noticed that there were very sometimes conflicting perspectives at institutional level and at research level, for example. And we think this experience can be relevant for other people working on the making DMPs. And we are very welcome to look into our poster. Thank you.
Can anybody hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
No, I couldn't get through to, had a few issues there. Sorry about that. Just before we, Jung Ho, number poster 26, have you arrived? No? Okay, so that's the end of our Midnight Madness presentations. I'll just share my screen again so that you can see the list of all those who presented. And if you'd like to ask the presenters any questions, can you all see that slide? I think I'm having a few issues here with technology. Let's try again. Okay, so there we've got a list of all the presenters there. So if anybody has any questions for any of these, you can make a note of the poster number and the presenter, and any questions you'd like to put your hand up, or you can post it into the chat to our presenters. But you can obviously also meet them, not quite in person, but almost in person when we go over to Gathertown. So I'm just scrolling through. I don't see anybody with any hands up there. No. Or any questions you have, you could put them into the chat, or are we all eager to go and do a bit of gathering in Gathertown? Okay, well, I'll stop sharing there. And what I'll do is I'll put the link to Gathertown into the chat. And we can all go in there. There we go. Okay, you can also obviously access from the, oh, I have a question just come in from Eric. It's a question for Max. Eric, would you like to turn on your camera and ask your question to Max?
Yes, you should hear and see me actually now. My question is the following. Your talk or your poster is on review of quality review of data sets that are being put into repositories. So in a way, this is a gatekeeping function, and I'm just wondering who would decide what goes into a repository and what not. It's especially interesting to me because, as far as I know, at least in my domain, usually data sets are shared after publication. So the publication is the quality control. So what is your idea about this?
So with the survey, we actually requested a broad landscape of research data repositories. So there are different approaches to publish data. So some of them are already peer-reviewed in like journals, and others are data archives that are storing and archiving data and do some kind of quality review before. So it's a very high diversity of research data repositories that were taken into account.
Yes, thank you. So actually there are repositories that do like a separate peer review for data?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
So it was really surprising for us as well that more than half of the repositories that were responding to our survey actually do review beyond the application of formal criteria. So in the survey, we asked first for application of formal criteria and things like the collection policy of each repository, or whether they have a collection policy. And then one of the following questions was on data review beyond the other application of criteria.
Interesting. I'll catch you up on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question, Eric, and thank you, Maxi. Does anybody else have any questions for our presenters? Okay, maybe you're saving your questions to speak to them more directly in Gathertown. So I have put into the chat the link for you to access Gathertown. I will keep this room open in case other people come in here and they want to know where everybody is. So if anybody's just come in again, I'll put in, oh, there's another question coming from Alexander for poster 23. So it's a question for Ritu. There's a question for you in the chat from Alexander. All this SEM metadata is contained in the raw data. Can you suggest any good software for machine retrieving this metadata and saving it to the standard you suggest?
I'm not sure what you meant, Alexander, by saying that all the SEM metadata is contained in the raw data, because what we realized is that most of the settings are not saved anywhere, and these are things that only the people who are doing the experiment, they do it out of the experimental knowledge. So the thing is, for saving the data or for like ingesting the information, other than the schema, you need some kind of electronic lab notebook, which would then work with the schema. We are currently in the process of working with some of the electronic lab notebooks, which are available at KIT and also at the Helmholtz Center Herion as part of our collaboration. But it's not to the point that you can directly use it. So this is like a baby step that we have taken in this regard. But one thing I can say is that the SEM metadata that we have saved,
Hi everyone, and welcome to the poster session. If you have any questions or would like some help, let me know, and I'm happy to help you if I can.
I don't know where that came from, Stephanie.
Okay. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that the metadata that we have saved, like the template that we made according to the schema, is not normally available in the raw data. So we have gone into much details that normally is not available, so that you can repeat your results by just looking at the metadata. And for this, we actually need a cooperation of the material scientists who are doing the experiment, so that it can be like online transferred into an electronic lab notebook. But I'm sorry, I cannot recommend anything like immediately, because the technology is not developed to that point as of now. I guess this is how I can answer your question, Alexander, not more.
Does that help, Alexander? I see. If you'd like to turn on your camera, maybe.
Sorry, I haven't camera, but
okay. Okay.
But as I said, we have this kind of microscope, and we have two kinds of formats to save the data. And if we choose the TIFF format, we know that the metadata about the parameters are saved. And we also have friends with different machine, different different type of machine, and they have also this information saved in TIFF. So we were thinking that most of machines that make pictures and save them in TIFF formats save the information in the first 7 lines of the text file. You can find the information about this metadata. So we were thinking that we can get this information and export it to this metadata schema. But thank you, Roy, for the answer.
Yeah, just one more clarification there. The basic information is contained in the TIFF file. So what we do is go more than that. So for me, as the starting point, I use the TIFF file with the metadata involved. So that is there, but we go deeper. So we go into the real experimental settings, which are not saved automatically in the TIFF file. So please take a look at our GitHub link, and you will see that it's really extensive. So more than 1,500 lines are there, with a lot of parameters, which are not normally saved in a TIFF file. So TIFF, I used it, but just the basic version is available with TIFF, but we have gone to more depths. So please take a look. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for your question, Alexander. Do we have any more questions for our presenters who have given you just 1 minute of their work displayed on the posters? I'll put in the chat again the link to GatherTown. So if we have no further questions, we just check the chat now. I don't see anybody's hand up. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I invite you all, and the presenters will be going in as well to the Gather Town, to the poster exhibition hall. The link there is in the chat. You can also access from the Hoover platform. I'll keep this room open just in case anybody comes in. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Thank you very much for our presenters for your minutes of madness. Really interesting, and we appreciate it very much. Okay, see you in Gather Town. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Bridget.